This idea of Achdus, this idea of unity of the Jewish people is often misunderstood, and therefore I am happy to be able to correct any misunderstanding which you might have had. Let's step back for a moment and speak about modern history. Do you know anything about modern history? Well, we are all modern people, so we know what's going on in the modern world, yes. Not so long ago was the 20th century. Some of you probably even have historical memory of the 20th century, yes?
Yeah.
Now, the 20th century, of course, when I speak about world history, what I mean is Europe. Who cares about the rest of it? The 20th century history can be viewed in many ways. Historians love periodization. The 12th century, the 11th century, there's really no particular reason why beginning in a certain year and ending in another year has to be the century that we talk about in historical terms. But it's convenient. The 20th century can be viewed in many ways. One important element in the history of the 20th century was the experiment of collectivism. What on earth does that mean? The experiment of collectivism. In the 20th century, we saw a vast experiment of collectivism on the right, political right. That's a complicated way of saying Nazism, the underlying theory of which was everyone in society must be harnessed to exactly the same goals and standards. Everyone in society has to be the same and exactly the way they're supposed to be. They figured out, according to their ideology, that was collectivism on the political right. And simultaneously, in the 20th century, we had collectivism on the political left. That's a complicated way of speaking about Bolshevism or communism. The political left, which also shared the idea of the Nazis that everyone in society has to be the same. And, well, these two great experiments in collectivism in the 20th century were dismal failures in every conceivable way. Individualism and autonomy is what won in the 20th century. Do we have any Americans amongst us? Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Like there you've got it in a nutshell. I mean, what better formulation could there be of collectivism? Well, it never worked, and unlikely that it ever will work. So no particular reason why it should work. And well, let's set aside the ideas of 20th century history. And now understand what the Tiferes Shlomo and Reb Elimelech of Lizhensk were trying to teach us. Of course, everyone is different, and of course, everyone has a different derech avodah. Of course, everyone has a different path of spirituality. Of course, everyone serves God and ascends the ladder of spirituality in a different way. We do not insist, and we cannot insist, and we should not insist that everyone follow the same path in Torah and mitzvahs. There are individual paths for everyone. And that from my point of view, his ascent in the ladder of spirituality has good points and bad points. I'm supposed to concentrate on his good points and ignore his bad points. Of course everyone is different. And of course the derech avodah of everyone is different. The achdus, the unity we need, is not everyone doing the same. The achdus we need is not everyone being the same. The achdus we need is a sympathy, an openness to other people's derech avodah, an openness, a sympathy to other people's derech avodah, what historians might call a kind of pluralism, where we are sympathetic open and welcoming of diversity. Okay? Is that enough of a Hasidic approach to this whole business of Shavuos?
It's beautiful.
Oh, Baruch Hashem.